Hello, Cosmic Sloth here with another Cyberpunk Red DLC video. Today we're going to be going over the gameplay guides and ideas section here. So it's three links here. We have Collecting the Random, Listen Up to John the Wise, and Listen Up to Rob Mulligan. So these last two links here are part of this thing they did where they kind of partnered up with these two content creators and kind of gave them their own little separate DLC where they got a chance to kind of talk about the way they run games and like advice and different like homebrew stuff that they did, which I think is a really cool thing that they did. So yeah, these are both content creators for Cyberpunk. You can find their stuff on like YouTube and stuff, make great videos. So if we check out the first one, it's Listen Up to John the Wise. It has this super cool art here. You have a little introduction, and you also have John the Wise's GM advice, so he has advice for running games. And then you have 5 of his house rules, which I think are pretty cool. I think this first one, the 3-goon method, that Artel actually like started incorporating into their own like source books going forward. So it's a very cool way to like simplify NPCs and adding in NPCs into your games, especially when it comes to like combat and stuff like that. So very useful. Then he has a couple other things like no death saves for mooks. Great advice. That is a really good thing to put into your games. Excessive damage stun saves, major successes and failures, and police response time. And then he has some template stat blocks for each of the goons in the 3-goon method. So pretty cool. And then the second one that they have is Listen Up to Rob Mulligan. So same thing, has a little introduction, has a link to their YouTube channel, which is pretty cool, just built in there. And it also has GM advice, and then 5 of their house rules. So super cool. You got the luck mulligan, you have memory checks, info drops, you have damage with every hit, the GM report card, which I think is a really cool idea for like, especially like newer GMs or if you're new to the game, and a way to kind of get to know your players a little bit more too, and like what they are wanting from the game, which is I think very helpful. And then you have the quick campaign builder, so some lists to kind of build a campaign from scratch, just real quick. And then yeah, that's about it for these two. So yeah, like I said, just super cool that they partnered up with those two content creators and got those made. Definitely recommend checking them out. And then for this one, you have Collecting the Random. So ideas, thoughts, and lists from the Cyberpunk Red crew. Has some really cool information for GMs and players alike. So it gives you some information on complementary skill checks and why you should use them. You have reskinning roles, so very cool if you want to like kind of flavor your PC in different ways. Then you have 10 punk campaign ideas, so different ideas to like starting your campaigns, so great for the GMs to kind of check out and get some ideas from. You have multi-classing ideas, so kind of just gives you like what the multi-classes could potentially be like known as or what their flavor could be. So just kind of things to get those brain juices flowing and give you some ideas for what you might want to do with your own characters or NPCs or anything like that. I think that's just a super cool thing to check out. Definitely recommend reading through it. Then at the bottom we have Cyberpunk Red Fashion, so just a little bit more flavor text on each of the fashion like choices that you have. So you have the bag lady chic, gang colors, so on and so forth. And then at the bottom here you have 20 random kibble flavors, so that's kind of funny. Pretty great. You got things like aromatic beef, you got collagen boost, you have extra fluffy pancakes, so just different kibble flavors for that great food that you have in the dark future. And then I wanted to throw a little bit of a curveball also into this video. So we are going to be going over something from the supplemental bonus content, and that is Black Chrome Plus. So, and you'll see why I chose to do that in a second here. But the Black Chrome Plus is extra content for the Black Chrome source book. The Black Chrome sourcebook is um, they added in a bunch of different like items, weapons, different vehicles. So just a bunch of cool stuff. A bunch of cyberware, of course. A bunch of stuff for your players and you to play with if you're the GM. And this is just like a little bit of free extra content they released with it. So at the beginning here, you have a little bit of interactions with Molly Anderson, the fixer there. Some items that you might find at her night market. So she's kind of like the more of like a street level fixer, so to speak. So a lot of the stuff is on the cheaper side, and she gets a lot of the stuff from like scavenging and things like that. So you have things like junk ammunition and Molotov cocktails and scavenged armor. So just kind of like interesting stuff like that for like lower level PCs and stuff like that. And then you have the list of the items that they added in here. And then here is why I wanted to add this in. You actually have art for each of the fashion choices that they kind of describe here. You can actually get a good look at what they're kind of describing, what the fashion kind of looks like. So you have like the bag lady chic, you have gang colors, you have generic chic, bohemian, leisure wear, nomad leathers, Asia pop, urban flash, business wear, and high fashion. And then it also gives you some artistic looks at like some of the linear frames. So the external internal sigma frame, external internal beta frame, so real huge one, and then also the omega frame here. So that's pretty cool stuff. And then at the very bottom, you have some like ads that you might see around town, and you also have maps of like different night markets that the different fixers have going on that you'll find more information on in the actual Black Chrome source book. But here you actually just have like free maps you can pull and use for whatever you want. I think that's a super cool little resource. And then you also have NPC tokens, so just tokens for different like NPCs, characters, some cyber canines here. So yeah, definitely very cool stuff. Great source of information. Great resources like always. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you liked it. Appreciate it.